Hello everybody, this is your friend Keshav Chandak from ExecKart.com. At ExecKart, we are making knowledge sharing templates which would be helpful for the users in the field of startups, finances, presentations and many more. Today we have come with one such template which is known as GST reconciliation format. This tool can also be used in case of statutory audits. So now let me take you through this template. This template consists of 8 sheets, namely help, book sales details, books input details, GSTR 3B details, GSTR 1 details, GST output RECO, GST input RECO and summary of changes. Now as you have seen all the sheets, let me guide you through the use of each sheet. The first sheet we come across is known as the help sheet. This sheet contains a basic introduction to the template and a step-by-step process on how to use the template in case you are stuck somewhere. Now, before moving further, let me tell you some of the basic details about this template. The first point is the colors used. There are 2 colors used in this. The first is the blue color and the second one is the orange color. The blue color basically signifies that the user has to put in the details in these cells manually, whereas the light yellow color signifies that these cells will be calculated automatically. The second thing is that the user also needs to fill the basic details like name of the entity, purpose of working, etc. Once you enter name of the entity, for example ABC Limited, these things get auto-populated in other sheets as you can see here. The next thing is about the adjustment columns. The adjustment columns as seen here are given in each sheet to incorporate the details which would not come directly in case of normal entries. The fourth point is with regards to the notes and the remarks column. The notes and the remarks column is provided so that the user can put his remarks about the working done by him. The last point is about the number of cells. As you can see that we have provided with 2 categories for each of the sales details. In case you need to add some more cells, there is some other process for the same which I'll be guiding you further. Now let us move back to basic details. The next sheet we talk about is known as the book sales detail. This sheet contains the details of sales as represented by the books of account as maintained by the user. As you can see right in front of you, this is the sales and tax details auto-computed sheet. This sheet gets automatically computed from the basic details which we put in here, which are sales basic information. Right below that we have credit and debit notes, and to the right of the sales information we have RCM details. Now let me show you how this thing works. In case you need to put in the sales at the rate of 2.5% in the month of April in interstate details, all you have to do is just come to the sales basic information details, and here in the month of April you just need to enter rupees 5,000 for a sale. And as you can see here, this thing gets automatically calculated along with the GST. Now the same thing works for all the other columns. So one more thing you should keep in mind is that in case of debit and credit notes, the credit notes values are to be entered as a positive number and the debit notes values are to be entered as a negative number. Now let me take you to the RCM sheet. All you have to do is as same as we do in the sales sheet. All you have to do is just insert a value here which is to be paid in RCM, and things get calculated automatically right here and also in the RCM details as mentioned here below. Now all the things that get computed in the auto-computed sheet are carried forward to the GST output RECO sheet automatically, where we will have the final reconciliation of the details. Some of the important things which you need to keep in mind is that in case of general sales in auto-computed sheet, the GST values are to be entered manually by the user. Now some other points are, anything you write in the adjustment columns for sales and credit and debit notes, that is here and here, will get automatically computed in the general sales details and not in a category wise detail. and any adjustments done in the RCM details will get adjusted here right below the total sales in the RCM section. One last thing about this sheet is that in case, as you can see here, I have mentioned category 1, category 2. Category defines the number of products that an entity has. Now we have given here you with 2 categories. Now in case you need to add a third category of product, so all you have to do is nothing but simply add a row here and mention it as category 3. And the next step you need to take is add the same thing in your formula, that is plus category 3. So you can even add a more number of products as required by you, and the same you have to do with your formula. And this thing applies in all the sheets. In case you need to add some more products, you just need to add a row and make similar things in the formula as well. Now some of you might wonder why we have included RCM input liability, inward liability in this sheet. The simple reason for this is that RCM inward liability is paid by the importer himself, since this is calculated in this sheet. The next sheet now we talk about is books input details. This sheet contains the details of input credit as availed in the books of account by the user. So as you can see here, I have mentioned here different rates like 2.5%, 6%, 9%, 14% and the adjustment columns. The purpose of the columns is same as given in the sales detail. Now in case you need to enter in the month of September input credit availed in IGST is Rs 8,000. This value gets automatically calculated in the GST Input Rec sheet here. So as per my knowledge, the number of rates as mentioned by me are used in the general terms of the business. In case you need to add some more rates, the process is same as explained in the sales details section. Once done with the input details, the next sheet we talk about is GSTR 3B details and GSTR 1 details. I would like to talk about these two sheets simultaneously, as these are nothing but the replicas of the GST forms that we can download from the GST portals. So all you need to do here is just put the details as appearing in the GSTR form 3B in this sheet and GSTR 1 details in this sheets. As you can see here that I have created columns based on the GST form as appears on the GST portals, and the details presented here get automatically calculated in GST Output Reco in amount as per 3B and GST Input Reco for the input credit in amount as per 3B. Even the GSTR 1 details get calculated right below the GSTR 3B detail. So as per my information, there is no need to add any more columns here, as these formats are prescribed by the GST department itself. Once we are done with the above work, now let us move forward to the talking about final sheets that are GST Output Reco, GST Input Reco and summary of changes to be done. These sheets will provide a bird's of view for the final changes to be done for incorporating the values in the financial statement. As moving forward, now first let us talk about the GST Output Reco sheet. The GST Output Reco sheet has a 5-table format: amount as per books, amount as per 3B, amount as per GSTR 1. The next two columns, as you can see here, is summary of differences between books and 3 and summary of differences between GSTR 3B and GSTR 1. In this table, you will get the values as you have put in the books in detail. Right below that, here you will get the values that you have put under the GSTR 3B, which will be matching the GST returns filed by you. The differences of these two sheets will appear right here, the summary of differences between GSTR 3B and the books. Right below that, here the values will appear as you have filed your GSTR 1, and the differences between GSTR 3B and GSTR 1 will appear right here in the table named summary of differences between GSTR 1 and GSTR 3. Now, as you can see here, even here I have mentioned the adjustment columns. These columns are to be used to fill in the final amount of differences which is to be reconciled, so that the user can get the final result which is to be provided for the financial statement. Now, next template we talk about is GST Input RECO. This is similar to GST Output RECO. Here, in this table, you will get the values auto-populated from the GST input details as provided by you. Right below that, you have amounts as per 3B, wherein you get the details as filed by you in the GST return. So the summary of these two tables will appear here. The summary of differences